Hi, Minesh. Welcome to the India Global Business. And I'm so happy to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Minesh Pore, who is the co founder and CEO of BuyHive. Minesh, welcome to the interview, and we look forward to having an interesting conversation with you.
Param, it's amazing to connect with you after so many years. I mean, we grew up pretty much in the same neighborhood. I know you for so many years. This is the first time we are formally talking about work, which is great. And I'm really, really thankful for you to have me on here. Look at us. We grew up in a small society, Azad Society in Ahmedabad. You're sitting in London. I'm sitting here in Shanghai now. It's a interesting journey for both of us.
Absolutely. But for the benefit of my viewers, could you share more about your journey as Minesh Pore, the startup enthusiast, more than probably our student life? Because I'm sure those stories are for some other time.
Yeah. So Param, I actually I'm a very new startup founder. I am a child as a startup founder, I should say. Um, I have been a corporate guy for almost 21 years before I started my own company. So I started. I grew up and was brought up in Ahmedabad. Went to business school called BK. And once I graduated at BK, I think you are very well aware. But once I graduated, I had a campus recruitment at the Tata Group. In Tata Group, it was at the Tata Press. In those days, we used to publish yellow pages and exporters pages and trade magazines, as well as we used to have. Some magazines like Overdrive and AV Max, etc. So I started in the corporate office and corporate planning, learned a lot about corporate planning under the best of Tata, some task guys there. Had a very good experience. After which I went to do my masters. I thought I had done my MBA, but I felt after working about 3.5 years and working with a lot of international clients, especially Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, I felt that I needed to study more an international business and get myself accustomed to the international trade, and that's what I wanted to do work on. So I went to business school called Thunderbird in Arizona, which in those days was the #1 business school for international business. Once I graduated, actually during my study there, I had an internship in Taiwan for a textile manufacturing company. So I ended up in Taiwan doing my internship, and then when I got back, I got a few offers from US companies that would, for 6 months or 12 months, have me work in US and then send me back on an assignment to India. And I wanted to spend a little more time outside India. At the same time, this company in Taiwan, which was a textile manufacturing company, offered me a job in Taiwan, and part of it was in China. So that got me excited. Yeah, the money was not the same as would get in the big MNCs, but this was a very exciting job, and they offered to pay off my loans in the first bonus. So I say, okay, great, this sounds good. Costs are lower, loans are paid off. Let's just take it. And that's how I ended up in Taiwan without speaking any Mandarin. I spent about 3 years between Taiwan and Shanghai mostly. Went around about 10 countries: China, Taiwan, US, India, uh, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, all the textile countries. Uh, Very good experience as a young guy. Stayed on the road for 280, 300 days a year. Had these huge hotel points and miles and all that. So it was a fun experience. Uh, in 2006, I ended up at Global Sources, which was a Nasdaq listed company. They wanted to start growing their international trade show. They had sourcing trade shows, and they wanted to launch trade shows in different markets, as well as they wanted to bring in international participants. So they were scouting for people. They connected with me through the alumni network at business school, and I got the job. Moved to Hong Kong, was there till 2011. Did a lot of sourcing projects, a lot of sourcing trade shows, launched trade shows in different parts of the world: Dubai, Miami, Johannesburg, uh, Singapore, and had an amazing experience doing that. In 2011, got offered a job in New York for a company called Intertech, and they were launching a sourcing platform, and they needed somebody to run that, as well as they had a established business of compliance and audits, so factory audits, again sourcing related. So ended up with them managing North America, Latin America from 2011 to 15. At which point I got an offer to move to Pico in UK. I was in Twickenham. I don't know whereabouts in London you are, but I was in Twickenham and living in Wandsworth. Basically working, and I was the chief executive for Europe for that company that was doing trade exhibitions, trade shows, conferences, Formula One, etc., etc. So again, a very good experience. And Global Sources wanted me back by 2016, and they said, no, 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 it's been 6 years you've gone. We really want you back. We have big plans for the company, blah blah blah. So I ended up coming back to Hong Kong. Um, all went well. We sold the company in 2017 to Blackstone. So we delisted on Nasdaq. We sold the company to Blackstone with the expectation that once Blackstone comes in, we can do the bigger picture that we wanted, or we get new resources to invest into making new sourcing solutions. And sourcing solutions we're thinking about is from the perspective of doing how do you say, from the perspective of helping buyers make sourcing more transparent and easy. And we realized that Blackstone had different plans. Blackstone's plans were basically a PE plan, which is cost cutting, beautifying the P&L, and turning it around. And that was fine for them. But for me, and at that time, the CEO of Global Sources, Brent, who was my co-founder and CEO of BuyHive, we both said, "Oh, it's enough, man. All we are doing is shrinking our teams for almost two-thirds of our teams were to be let go, and we were doing all the dirty work and not really creating any value. We thought, oh, being expats, we'll get fired first because we have big tickets on our head. That did not happen. So finally left in end of 2019 to start BuyHive. The idea was that we would start and build these solutions that we wanted to build, not knowing COVID is going to hit. And that's where the story gets interesting, because with BuyHive, our objective was to provide a network of freelance sourcing experts who would do the work on the behalf of buyers without the buyers having to travel. Right. And nobody in those days, we did not think travel would be this difficult that is today with the quarantine and the travel restrictions and all that. Right. I mean, we had no idea, obviously, but we knew for sure that the costs of trade are getting higher, and the costs of sourcing are getting higher, and retailers are shrinking in size. So we were seeing the rise of Shopify and Amazon and eBay and Walmart e-commerce and these third-party platforms where smaller retailers are getting bigger. The larger guys, like you see in the UK, in US, in Europe, everywhere, the larger guys are shrinking. Let it be the H&Ms of the world, the Zaras of the world, or whoever, and everybody's shrinking. So we basically wanted a solution for these smaller, medium-sized guys who don't have resources as much as the big guys. The Walmarts and the Targets and the H&Ms and the Zaras all had stores all over the world, and they also had sourcing teams all over the world. But these small guys don't necessarily have those resources. What they need is somebody they can trust, somebody they can be transparent with, and somebody will do the work. So we were seeing that since 2000, and this is pre-COVID, 2017, 18, 19, a lot of retailers like the Toys R Us of the world, the Zaras of the world, the Marks and Spencer, the Sears, etc., were shrinking. Because of that, a lot of expert sourcing people were losing jobs as well. And they were losing jobs where the need for these people was going up among the smaller guys. And the smaller guys can't really afford to have these recruited. So we said, okay, why don't we do a matchmaking? We would have these freelancers do work on the behalf of these buyers, and they get paid by the day. The projects get paid by the day. All the data is captured through a templated format on the website. So we are creating value, and then the buyers are getting the data in a some simple format that they can use to do the sourcing better or make buying decisions better. Also, the data that is being generated, we can use it for our third party sales platform, a B2B platform, on which the buyers are already there because they're giving us the requirements. The profiles of the suppliers are there because the freelancers who are experts are providing those into the backend, and we can qualify and requalify them to be invited to the platform as against our previous platforms like Global Sources or Alibaba or any of these, which are advertising platforms. So we wanted to have that element of trust, element of accountability to the platform. So what we decided was that we would go in that route, and the first launch would be our freelance platform. So January 2020, we started recruiting these freelancers, about 600 or so of them were recruited by February. And then COVID hit. And people are like, oh, I don't want just to find the suppliers or the products. I want the product now. I want the product now. And we didn't have our platform ready where the product would be ready, right? So we are
Right.
like, shit, what do we do? So we went, we kind of stopped all the development that we're doing on the freelancer side. We said, touch back to the ground. Let's convert these leads and start working with clients and getting them the products they need. So one of the first clients actually is your NHS and Department of Health in UK,
Okay.
which does amazing amount of due diligence, and it's a long battle to get into them, and they verify everything about you and your company, blah blah blah, right? So we got qualified for that. We started working with them, and then we got clients like University of Pittsburgh Medical Center in US. We got a foundation called Austin Emergency Foundation, which is made up of some really really powerful billionaires in Texas. Then we
Mhm.
got another few hospitals like Ho hospitals, etc. And we started as a startup. We started doing decent. By the end of the year, we had done about 9 million US in revenues. We had done about $1 million in gross profit, and we had already started building the platform that we wanted to build. We had invested our own money into it, etc., etc. So overall, it went well. All the money we made, we invested. We started building the team, and so on and so forth. So that's how BuyHive first year went, and then the COVID challenges continue. So we've been
Right.
helping all kinds of customers from all over the world, finding them different products. So we started with doing, of course, the mass and
Interesting point, and the journey has been very exciting till now. You grown during the times of COVID, but then, as you said, COVID hit, and there was a shift in demand as well. And some of the clients that you mentioned also relate to healthcare. So how have you been involved with COVID, and especially with the second wave in India? You also, I believe, been helping sourcing in India. So what's been the journey for helping with the COVID pandemic by Hive?
So, Param, one of the things that we realized because of COVID was the need for transparency and trust is even more greater, because these
Absolutely.
products, whether it was last year or now in India, the products that are needed are really life saving,
Right.
and the onus is on us to deliver in the right way. And when you say deliver, it's a lot of things. It's the price points is one and simple thing, but the most important thing is to trying to get the product delivered. Most
Yes.
of the times what is happening is that a lot of middlemen and brokers, etc., come in between in the picture. And we face this too, not just we haven't it's not like we haven't faced it. We have faced this too, where products don't get delivered. When products don't get delivered, somebody is suffering, and suffering
Yes.
by life. So we took that upon us. We pivoted our models fairly quickly last year to try and help these people who are needing these products, whether it had been gloves or gowns or goggles or whatever the product was. We got our people into the factories. We tried to verify the suppliers, and we tried to do all the right stuff behind it so that we can source the right product. This year, of course, we got hit by the need in India for the oxygen concentrators, right?
Yes.
And very early on, we already had some sources of oxygen concentrators, but very early on, we could see, even before the demand got so crazy, that we are in a repeat mode of some other products that we had seen. We had seen products like mass now that are selling for 3 cents and 4 cents. We had to source them at 35 and 40 cents last year. And And we actually can see that happening in oxygen concentrator market, and we can see a lot of people getting scammed and preyed upon, because we see there is a high demand, right? And everybody sees there's high demand. People say, oh, like for example, in oxygen concentrators, we can see people say, oh, I'll deliver 100 units to you tomorrow. The 100 units are only going to be available probably in 2 to 3 weeks, but they don't tell you honestly. So one of the things that we even lose deals because of these, and the same guys go to other people and then they come back saying, oh, they promised us 2 weeks back, but it is not delivered. Can you deliver it to us now? I said the lead time still stays when you pay after that 2 to 3 weeks. And but the big thing is all the business that we have done, we've done
Mhm.
cash upfront, and that is the only way the business happens right now. So
Okay.
imagine you have to give $1 million to somebody to uh, in cash that you don't know. It's very risky. It's very risky, especially in
Sure.
China, right? The money once gone into China is very hard to get out.
Interesting. Interesting. So, but I believe you've been able to get a lot of oxygen concentrators off to India. I've been seeing the work you've been doing and been following you on the LinkedIn as well. Kudos to you and your team on this. But what next? What's the future like? I believe as we speak today, you moved to Shanghai from Hong Kong. You shift base. So, what's the future like for BiHive now?
So, Param, like I said, our product is solutions for sourcing. Doesn't matter the product that is in demand, right? We're not focused on healthcare only, or we're not focused on one product category only. Frankly, our objective when we started was not of doing the healthcare system at all, or healthcare products at all. We were focused on products that are high demand online, which are products such as home decor, garden outdoor, kitchen products, health and wellness products. So those that go in the gym and for workouts, etc. We were also focused on products for basically wellness, anything to do with proper wellness of people. So we see those industries still being in demand, and those product categories still going to be in demand. So I don't see a reason for us to be concerned about. And the reason I'm moving to China or Shanghai myself is that even though we have people here now, we have bought about $20 million worth of product out of China. And we have some people. But I think this, for a startup like ours, requires the CEO to make decisions on the ground, and I need to show my face sometimes in the factories and make sure things are going right and see the things for myself. Because, like I said, all the decisions we're making, all the buying we're making is essential for people's lives. So why not commit to it?
Right. And having moved to China, of course, seeing that the manufacturing is of the quality and the way you would want to put up on your platform. One question which is pertinent to me because I am representing India here is, are you looking to also expand into the Indian market, source from India as well, and be part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat, kind of campaigns?
Yes, of course. See, actually, when I worked for Global Sources for almost 9 years, general manager India, manage all these people, and India is very close to my heart. I know India in and out, and the categories that I mentioned to you, like garden outdoor, home decor, kitchen products. India is the number one. India is the largest producer of those, and India has the best designs, especially for the small lots that my client base needs. Right, we have BiHive has a very good client base of these e-commerce sellers, third-party sellers, and they need smaller lots. They need customizations. They need a lot of one-on-one approach to handling their product, and that is not possible in China. China is very good for doing large volume products or economies of scale. But when it comes to customizations and design and stuff, I think India has a upper hand, especially in these categories. India would be competing with countries like Thailand and Indonesia and Vietnam, but not so much in China, at least for these categories. So, Turkey. So those are the countries that India would be competing with, even Pakistan, Bangladesh to a certain extent.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Vinesh, to be to join us here today and sharing about BiHive, the work that you've done through COVID, and how the future looks like for your company. We wish you all the best, and probably we would have another round of interview probably a year down the line and understand how China's been treating you as well.
Thank you, Param. I mean, it's really an incredible journey. One and a half years back, when we started the company, I wouldn't have imagined that we would have done about now we've done about $15 million in revenue. We would have never thought that we would be doing that in such a short time. So we've done almost $1 million a month.
Perfect. Thank you.